Alright, so it is capturing. What should we deem our little hangout?
Oh God, I don't know.
The I Should Go Chronicles.
That's a good one. I like that.
I don't think that's actually come across on the video, but Shepard says I should go a lot in the first game. Actually, throughout all three.
I've come to expect it. I get excited when I'm about to end the conversation.
I always feel as if Shepard can be this complete badass going into this conversation, talk someone down, and then when it comes to end the conversation, it's like he faces like a little bit of like anxiety. He's like, "How do I end this conversation? How do I end this conversation? I should go." Like that's what it
How do I
feels
get
like.
out of this? How do I get out of this? This weirdo's talking to me.
It's not like he can just hang up on the council when he's,
He doesn't have a door to slam behind him. No, he doesn't understand.
and he doesn't have like a gavel to hit on the table or something. I'm out.
Exactly.
All right, so this is gonna be the Chronicles or the I Should Go Chronicles. So George, what do you think so far?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a little biased, I'm sure, but yeah. Pharaohs is a really interesting mission, and I really like it. I think it. I don't know. I think, so far, I think with Pharaohs, we start to see a lot of really kind of those kind of like classic sci-fi kind of tropes come across, and you have like the Thorian being something truly alien, and this thrall and mind control business
Yeah.
kind of comes up, and I think it's a really unique mission, and it's pretty cool.
So before we move on, when you first saw the Thorian for the first time when you played, were you like me and went like, "That's fucking gross"? Like, like just see it birth out in a Asari, and you're like, "That's nasty. That's just gross."
I definitely didn't really know what was going on. Wait a minute, what?
Did this just turn into something that it's making it a mature rated game?
Yeah. It's like I was telling you before, Nico. The first time I went through Pharos, I'm walking. I'm getting all the missions in Zoo's Hope area, but I didn't get the foreshadowing at all. I didn't talk to the right people, or I didn't ask the right questions when I was talking to them, and so I didn't get the sense that anything was weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was like, I'm getting side quests, I'm going through my thing, and and then when I come back, and then you see the zombies, I was like, okay, this is getting weird. You go downstairs, and I'm like, where did this turn left? It's just this big. I did not see it coming
It's
at all.
like the difference between watching like a Ridley Scott sci-fi film and a movie on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely. I didn't even get it. I was like, I just saw this Asari like poop out of this thing. I just didn't get it, and then she starts talking to me.
Like, do you want to just take a minute and collect yourself before you start talking to me? Because that's supposedly supposed to be a traumatic experience.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Yep.
but that part, the throwing down with the Thorian, even though you're not really throwing down with it, you're just shooting nodules and stuff, is actually a bitch. I mean,
I
it's
do.
a chore.
I have come to hate it. Like it does. It's so long. I can't remember how much you edited in that final video, but it takes forever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you have to go up like 5 stories and just kill all these zombie things.
Yeah.
It takes like 30 minutes.
Well, it took me significantly longer because, in an effort to make myself look good and make my shepherd not look like a complete pansy ass, I edited out all of the deaths that I had. Recording that particular part of the video, my final recording time for that, just for the boss fight, is I think it was like 70 minutes or something like that. But I shaved it down to like whatever it was on YouTube, like 20 minutes. So I was staring at video for a long time trying to get it down to something that's watchable.
Yeah, yeah, it just takes forever. It's yeah, there's so many of those nodules and like the last couple times I played it, I played a class where I don't really have a good weapon.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like shooting my pistol for like
I know. That's what I was doing here because the sniper rifle does nothing to the nodule. I figured that out, and so I was like, I literally have to use my pistol this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no good, man.
Alright, well, aside from the final boss there, what did you actually think of, like, the colony? Like, when you went back to get to the Thorian, did you realize that you could do the gas grenades and knock them out, or did you do Renegade and just kill them all? Because the first time I played through it, I didn't know... So I knew I got the insert to put into my grenades for the thorium gas, but I just assumed that the grenades automatically changed.
Yeah.
So the first time I played through it, I killed so many colonists, and I felt so bad.
You slaughtered them. No, I'm pretty sure I did a similar thing. Like, I didn't know how to equip the grenades or something, or I thought they did it automatically as well, and like I just went through and killed a bunch of guys. It's like, oh,
you saw the counter on the right just go down. You're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, I see. So I'm pretty sure I slaughtered a bunch of guys, but it was on accident that time.
All right. So yeah, I think Pharos was an interesting colony. So for in the sense of the shepherd I'm playing at, obviously he went there to save colonists because he's a colonist himself. And there's that part in the video on your way back to the Thorian where you meet those survivors. So Elizabeth's mom or whatever, and that Exogeny crony or whatever is saying he wants to repurpose the colonists and purge the whole colony because obviously Exogeny did something really bad. And I had my shepherd just flat out kill him. And I don't think I got it across on the video. The reason being behind that is shepherd's just like, I don't need some corporate crony who values profit over human lives to tell me that, that it's the right thing to do to purge these people, even though they were, they were unknowingly being tested on. They were mind controlled by this thing, and someone knew about it. So I think Shepard just fully realized the power of being a Spectre and just flat out killed this guy as an example of sorts, but mainly just out of pure frustration.
Yep. Yeah, Exogeny, definitely pretty shady there.
Yeah. And we'll see pretty shady later on too. But I want to go back to towards the beginning of the game. I mentioned it before, but one of my favorite things, hands down, in the first game is the feeling you get when you first become a Spectre. It just, I mean, you don't realize it when you're playing. It's only a couple hours into the game, but when you look at it, it feels so right. Like anything else you play where you become this elite badass or whatever, some kind of high prestige type position, I feel as if they just gloss over it, or it's just assumed you're in it. I think this first game really went into just the feeling and the importance and the weight of becoming a Spectre,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, that was that moment was definitely I remember playing it the first time and it was awesome. Like, it felt awesome just playing it, because I agree, like in a lot of games they try to sell you, like they try to convince you that something is important, or you're this advanced, special ops guy or whatever, right? You're supposed to be this great person, but then, it doesn't really, often it doesn't really feel that way, like in the context of the game. It just feels normal. But this one, with the ceremony and everything, they really sold it as like, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And that was definitely pretty awesome and one of the most memorable moments for me, for sure.
And in the beginning, just after leaving Eden Prime, is just so you could tell they put a lot of time into thinking about the reveals up to that point because, I mean, going into the Citadel, that whole reveal of the size and scope of the Citadel is just, I mean, it's amazing. And then, like, to have the crew react the way that they do about, because, I mean, you could see that Ashley and Caden have never been to the Citadel either. And they're just like, holy crap, like, it's massive. And you see the Destiny Ascension, and, it just, they definitely put a lot of thought into, like, wow, we are a lot smaller than we seem to think we are, and yet we're still trying to push the council to get one of us on board as a Spectre, or maybe on the council, and we're newcomers. Like,
right?
I don't think. So I get the sense that humanity is trying to be a bit of a bully. At this point in the game, I don't think the game conveys that, but I think knowing what I know, and then looking at it now, I feel as if humanity is a bit of a bully.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't remember going back to that of selling the sense of scale of the Citadel. I don't remember if you did it in your playthrough, but one of my favorite moments, in the beginning of that whole Citadel sequence is, you get there, you get off the ship, you talk to the ambassadors, and then you get your mission to go after Saren or whatever. And there's this conversation, this more cinematic conversation you can have with Ashley and Caden, like when you walk down to the wards. There's just, you get a little, the symbol goes over to one part of the screen, and you can just press A or whatever, and it initiates a conversation between the three of you.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys, the three squad mates are like talking and kind of in awe about how big the wards are, and they're looking down the arms of the Citadel, and then they relate it to Jump Zero and how small it is and stuff. And like, I didn't even find that conversation my first couple playthroughs. Like, I didn't even know it existed, but like every time I go back now, I always play that one because it's just, I don't know, it's another thing that really sells the Citadel is this really amazing, ship. It's like, you've never been to Jump Zero and you've never been to another space station, so you don't really, the player can't always appreciate it as much. But when they do little things like that, I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and not only does it make a big difference, and I know exactly which scene you're talking about. I did put that in there.
Okay,
and it's one of the first conversations you can have where you get the I mean, it's obviously planted, but you get the glimpse of what a potential romance love interest could be. So if you're male shep, Ashley sort of hits on you a little bit, and then if you're fem shep, Caden will try to hit on you. And I prefer Ashley's dialogue there, like playing as a man shep, because it's just really funny because it's so her character. It's so funny. But getting back to the moment, it, like you said, it sells the Citadel really well. But I think too, it also helps the immersion for the player to be in this universe because, I mean, the characters talk about Jump Zero and other places that the characters would have been to, in their backstory in terms of training and stuff. But, it just by the mere fact of mentioning that, you get a sense, okay, well, if those are the biggest that humanity can come up with, and this is massive, like, this is a whole other scale altogether. And then you also get in a sense of, in this conversation too, you can get the sense of where Shepard's head is at. Like, they talk about the aliens and why,
Right.
so you can also talk like, okay, so it's a big place, why keep humanity out? Or, man, they must be just trying to get everything running smoothly. They're probably not. They probably don't even care that humanity is around. And
Hmm.
like, there's a whole bunch of different options you could choose from, and you can kind of pick the head a little bit of your shepherd and flush it out a little bit. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that moment definitely sells the Citadel. I think right on par with the opening cinematic of landing on the Citadel, just because, but in a different way. The first one
Right.
just gives you a grand scale. The second one gives you a more personal level of what it means
Hmm.
to these people on the station.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah. It's a really nice little moment that doesn't last very long, but yeah, there's a lot packed into that little conversation.
And I think that's one of the better things about BioWare's games in general, but I obviously Mass Effect I'm going to be talking about, where there's a lot of little moments that playing through it on your own, or just if you're speeding through it, or if you're just playing through it on your own after a few times playing through it, you kind of take for granted. But if you play it without those small moments, it feels like there's something missing,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they all contribute to something. Like, they're there for a reason, right? They're not just there because Bioware thought it'd be cool to include it. They're there to enhance the the narrative, enhance the immersion of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I can't. I've seen all those little conversations a million times, but like every time I play through it, I have to do it again because yeah, it feels a lot emptier without it, in
Yeah.
my opinion. So
And I've seen people try to, do speed runs through the games, and they can beat the games, and I think someone beat it in 8 hours, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how much are you missing out on?
hmm.
I mean, yeah, you can skip dialogue that you've seen a bunch of times, but there's certain points where, for one, it won't let you skip through it, and two, you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, we'll see more of that in upcoming recordings, which I haven't done yet, but I'll probably get to soon. But I'm trying to figure out what else I wanted to talk about. Um, well, on Pharos, I brought up the adventures of the Mako, so I think.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. Oh man. Oh man.
I will always love the Mako, but you definitely saw in that part on Pharos, just the gravity, just physics doesn't work in the Mako.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mako is pretty unique, man. Just oh god, it's really hard. I can't remember what difficulty are you playing on in this playthrough? Do you remember?
Veteran, so one step below
Veteran
insanity.
is I thought no, it goes veteran hardcore insanity. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, well, I'm playing on. Okay, then I know I'm playing on veteran, so whatever that one is.
Okay, okay. Um, but yeah. Anyway, I've tried playing the game through on hardcore and insanity before, and those Mako sections are really tough when you bump the difficulty up, man. It's just, it's pretty rough. There's like all those rocket guys and the juggernaut things and stuff, man. Oh,
Yeah,
and they have to fit in the Mako section into
yeah,
every.
they have to.
You can't get around it.
They, um, I remember. So there's a side quest that happens much later in the game, and I don't know if I'll actually get to it in the RP, but I was on a planet and I had to take out a Geth, just some Geth that were on this planet. You track them to this planet. It's a frozen planet, and there's one choke point that you have to go in through, and then it opens up in this like encircled area, and and it's just a shit ton of Geth, like a Colossus, some armatures, and then a whole bunch of rocket and sniper ones. And I remember playing through it as a soldier, and going in there, taking out a couple here and there, and then my shields on the Mako would just be wrecked, so I'd have to back out. And if you're not a class that has electronics or anything, it takes forever for those shields to recharge. So
Yeah.
I would literally leave my controller on my bed for like 15 minutes and go do something else and come back, and it still wouldn't be recharged. And so it's just,
Yeah, it takes forever.
I know. And I mean, I'm playing as an infiltrator now, so easy electronics, so the shields recharge much quicker, but I was like, dear God.
Yep. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. It's just
It's like, it's parts like that that makes you realize how ambitious of a game this was when it came out. Because you can definitely tell there's parts that are unfinished, and they just had to push it through. And but even so, it's still got a polish to it that is distinctly BioWare.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think I really like the kind of going off that. I really like the atmosphere. So far in the first game, I think the atmosphere is really strong in this game. Like, like we were talking about walking around the Citadel, the buzz of the wards and kind of this environment is really fun to take in, and then on Theros, this kind of the hinting at this mind control thing, and this unknown evil that's kind of below the Zoo's hope and everything. I don't know. I really like the sense of atmosphere in this game. I thought they did a really good job in general, with all the main storyline quests and stuff. And the film grain is awesome. It feels like an old school, it really feels like a classic sci-fi, movie or something. It's really cool.
I think I turned off the film grain on the Xbox because if I was playing it on PC, I'd do it for sure. But on Xbox, the film grain makes texture pop happen way more. You could see it on some of the playthroughs, like the textures popping in after dialogue's already started and stuff. And that was one of the issues people had with the first game. But I agree with your sense of atmosphere. And you get a sense of that when you first step on to... For one, on the Normandy, you can tell the Normandy has its own atmosphere on its own, which is really cool. Because really, the Normandy is just a hub for you to get from place to place, but they make it feel like a living place. And on the Citadel, I like it because there's obviously clear, distinct differences in the parts of the wards that you can visit. So, the Presidium looks all white and pristine and clean and peaceful, and you get a sense of uppity upness when you're there. And then when you go down to the lower wards, you go near Kor's Den, you can tell, okay, this is kind of like a shady establishment type deal. Well, maybe not shady, but something's going on here. And it's unlike, if you were to go to Flux upstairs, which is more of a nightclubby type feeling,
Right.
And I actually like when I first played through it, actually the first few times, just the sense of wonder I had just checking everything out. Playing, is it Quasar? Up there. And, BioWare always somehow works like a kind of gambling mechanic into their games. But
I remember, to interrupt you real fast, I just remember the first time I was playing it, and I had played KOTOR a lot, and I loved Pazak.
Oh, man. Pazak was
that
great.
Game was addicting, and so I was pretty excited to try their new version of that. It wasn't quite as fun.
No, it's not quite as fun because in Pazak, they introduced the sense of getting rare cards, the addiction of collecting cards and building a deck. And then playing against other people.
Yeah, so I remember being really excited about it. It was pretty disappointing in the grand scheme of things, but I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make some money right here.
Uh, all right, so I'm trying to figure anything else that I might be missing for this, at least this first little Chronicles of I should go Chronicles.
Um, I could say definitely talk about Saren. I
Oh
think
yeah, duh.
I,
The antagonist, like,
yeah, I think Saren is really really great, and we haven't seen everything from him yet, obviously, but I think he's a really cool antagonist, and I really loved the the one of the opening scenes on Eden Prime when him and Nihilus have their discussion, and yeah, I actually was super sad because I really liked
I
Nihilus.
know.
I think he's awesome. We only get to talk to him for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and um, and then Saren, and his, and how he, defends himself when you accuse him on the Citadel and things like that. Um, I think I think he's a really cool antagonist in this game for sure.
I completely agree. I can't believe I forgot about Saren. It's so easy to get caught up in everything else about the game that you kind of, sometimes it's easy to forget about the main storyline. But yeah, I completely agree with you on Saren and on Nihilus. So just to touch on Nihilus for a second, like, he had the potential to be something really fucking cool.
I know, man.
And, man, and then he's just gone. And you're like, damn it.
I still get sad every time. Oh, God,
like, Nihilus, you just have to turn around for 1 second. And it's a different game altogether.
Yep.
But getting back to Saren, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I remember first playing through it, and he does, when Saren has that hissy fit on the boat, or on the ship with Benezia, I thought that was kind of dumb, but,
yeah.
you just you're like, okay, this guy is intense. And then when you actually accuse him in the meeting to the council, you're like, okay, he's a smooth operator. He's got his story down pat. You're not going to phase him all that easily. And not on top of that, on top of that, he's going to throw jabs at you and Anderson and humanity all at once and try to goad you into a response. Yep. And I role played that exactly like that. Shepard knew he was going to goad him into something, and Shepard didn't play into that, but Anderson did, and I was just like, God damn it, Anderson.
Yep.
Cool, calm, and collected. That's what you gotta be, man.
Did you, okay. Kind of another topic already, sorry, but, as far as, the vision, the Prothean beacon and this vision you get, I always kind of wish there was a few more options of how you could play that, like, kind of definitely throughout the beginning of the game here. Like, I don't know. I feel like, obviously Shepard gets this vision. He tells it to Anderson. They kind of talk about it, and then, they automatically kind of believe that this is something meaningful.
Right.
But I always thought it would be really interesting if you could have it where Shepard, like, really would doubt himself, or that doubt it would be important.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what I would do. I'd be like, did I really see something?
Yeah.
Probably. I got knocked out for like 2 days or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably me just dreaming.
Yeah.
And like when, and then Anderson brings it up in the council meeting. Like, I always wanted to roleplay Shepard as being like pretty pissed off about it,
right?
Because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you, man. Like, and I think this is why we clicked on making the story for this, coming up with this, is because I feel exact same way. Because, like, think about it. Like, you wake up after being knocked cold. Do you really want to tell someone about it? Okay, well, in the context of being in the military, I guess you would disclose that to your physician or something, that you saw something, like, that you've never seen before. Like,
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like Shepard's a novelist, so he wouldn't dream these things up. But it's
Right.
like. But yeah, I tried to get that across in the first time, and Shepard actually does say something. He's like, "What are we going to tell the council? That I had a bad
Right.
dream? Like, let's just nix
Yeah.
that. We know Saren's a bad guy. That's something tangible we can focus on,
Right.
and
Right.
let's do that." And then it gets brought up in the meeting, and Saren quashes it so fast. It's like, how am I supposed to defend my innocence against dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it just makes humanity seem super stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, if I was Shepard, I'd be legitimately pissed off, because beforehand I'd be like, no, just don't bring it up at all. Like, we don't need to bring that up at all. Like, we can keep that amongst the Alliance and try to figure out what that might mean, but we know Saren's a bad guy. But no, Anderson brings it up. And the thing that pisses me off about that, too, is after you become a Spectre, and Anderson brings up the Vision again, now Odina just brushes it off like it's nothing. It's like how it should have been treated to be at the beginning.
Right. Right.
One thing I will say, though, is you see the Vision twice so far, and I'm so tired of seeing that damn Vision. I wish I could skip it, because I just hate watching it.
Yeah.
And then I'm bringing up the Vision again. It comes up in the second game, and you watch it in the second game. I was like, come on, I thought it was done. Like,
Sick of it. Get out of my head.
I was like, I don't want to see it anymore.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I know BioWare does that like all the time, and it can get kind of old, this whole like prophecy thing and visions in their games. They do that a lot. But it is interesting. Like, I think, and again, kind of going back to the Thorian and Pharos, and this cipher that you get, it really it becomes this really kind of, I don't know, as far as the fiction goes, I think that's where it takes the biggest leaps as far as this cipher, this species knowledge of who they are. Like, it's real hand wavy stuff,
Right.
But I think I like it because it's so different than the rest of the game. Like, it really makes it feel more alien, and
Right.
like this is something really kind of not supernatural, but really, really different. And because in the rest of the game, right, they explain their fiction really well, and it's very techy in how they present it, but like this stuff with Visions and the Asari and this like mind melding thing is so different than that.
Right.
And like that was another scenario where I always thought it well, you have that option, I guess. But maybe even to bring that out a little bit more would have been cool, as far as like Shepard being like, what the hell was that? Like, she gives you this cipher. It's just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? I was confused the first time I ever played it. I was like, what the hell? I didn't get it at all.
So, going back to a couple weeks ago when we were discussing on how we were going to flesh this out in the order to do things, I was telling you, I rarely do Pharos first. But now that I'm doing Pharos first, you kind of get a sense that, yeah, you get that hand-wavy type deal. But at the same time, you know that, what do you call it? At the same time, like, it feels that way, but you can also make the claim that it's just so sufficiently alien, and it even what the VI says on Pharos, it's sufficiently alien to be inclassifiable or something like that.
Right.
And you can make that case, but I do agree with you. I might have played out that mind meld thing a little differently, because for one, it's just like, what the fuck did you do to my head, right? But I could have played that out, but I think I felt more as if, like, yeah, Shepard's feeling a little weird, a little queasy, maybe a little lightheaded, and that's just the brain processes trying to, do their thing. But I think what it really was is, okay, Shepard's like, okay, well, I got what Saren has. I don't know what it does yet, but it's a good thing that I have it.
Right.
we'll figure it out along the way. We got to get
Yeah.
moving. You know,
Right.
that's what I was trying to get across. But
No, no, and I think the way you played it out was fine. I mean, I didn't mean to say anything like that. And
yeah,
I think like I do think that's like a really interesting way. You know, I think it's cool. Like I'm not trying to say that this mind melding thing is like ridiculous, but
right,
like from the perspective of a shepherd, somebody's shepherd, you know, you could imagine that this feels so alien that it can't be true,
right.
you know?
Hmm.
And like I always thought that was cool. I thought that was really interesting because it does again kind of this Thorian is something completely different
Hmm.
than anything else we've seen, and we're getting this you know asset that we don't know what to do with, and I think that's it. I think it's I do think it's really cool part of the story. Yeah.
And you do get, and even though I didn't roleplay my shepherd reacting as such, it is a valid option to roleplay that and act that out. It's actually one of the options you can pick. Like she's like, she fucked with my head or something like that, and they get mad at her and stuff.
Hmm.
But even though I didn't roleplay that out on my shepherd, Ashley actually does a good job in reacting that way. She's like, "You sure
Hmm.
you're okay?" Like I mean, because you can tell she's very wary of anything alien anyway. Um,
Hmm.
and at this point in the story, you haven't heard much of her background, so people, and I feel as if this is where a lot of people come into play and think she's a xenophobe. It's not that she's a xenophobe; she's just wary of anything. Period. She's very
Right.
cautious, and she's just being cautious for one, because that's her commanding officer, and for two, it's just like okay, it's born out of what the hell just happened. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's something. Yeah. She's never experienced and before, and so obviously you want to be careful.
Yeah.
Not just she just doesn't want you to trust everyone so easily.
Right. And I think that's another thing to try to convey in the game is I don't think Shepard trusts easily, but in the sake of accomplishing his mission, he'll accept what assets he has available.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Ashley and Caden, he has a connection to, well, Eden Prime for one, and then for my Shep, Caden is a trusted friend.
Hmm.
So, but that's why earlier on I talked to the aliens because he's never had aliens on board his vessel that he's in command of, for one.
Hmm.
And two, I'd like to think he doesn't have much experience interacting with aliens.
Yeah.
So when I talked to Garrus the first time, um, it was probably easier for Shepard to interact with him because he's like a humanoid in a sense, and
Hmm.
he's kind of cool, and you can use the guise of him helping you out in the investigation of Saren to break the ice. But like when you talk to Rex, I like to think that Shepard put his foot in his mouth because he brought up the genophage, which apparently is a hot button issue that he didn't know about. But he's just trying to make conversation and connect with this crew.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then you talk to Tali and you get talked off. Like, Tali talks forever in the game. And while it's all interesting, it was a bit of a chore for me to talk to Tali for the roleplay because I know everything she says and I know how long it takes. And I just wanted to skip it. But I couldn't do that. So, but yeah, Tali will. When I first played the game, I didn't like Tali all that much, but she definitely grows on you when you get the reason, her motivations behind doing what she does and learning more about the culture.
Hmm.
And I think that's where BioWare actually excels in this game, is they fully flesh out a lot of the different cultures.
Hmm.
The Quarians, especially in the first game, well, at least just through Tali, you get, that they created the Boogeyman, the Geth, and now they're paying the price for it. Then you talk to the Krogan and how that all got fucked up, and then you talk to the Turians who are really militaristic.
Yep.
I don't think the cultures get fully fleshed out until the second one, but you get a sense that we're all uniquely different races, but at the same time, it's human nature, like.
Hmm.
So I really like that aspect of the game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The backstory and the politics between all the different races is really interesting. It makes it feel more real.
Yeah. And I really think the politics come to a head in the third game, obviously by necessity, but
Mm-hmm.
you like in the first two games, it's just history between these races. You don't really get the sense that it's still going on. But then the third game, you really feel all the tension and drama, and you just, at least for my ship, I feel as if he's just gonna get fed up with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
See, anything else you could think of?
Um, I don't think so. Talked about Eden Prime, the Citadel, Theros, um,
The council,
Council. Yep. Coming
Saren.
Inspector. Yeah, I mean, I think that's
It's pretty much
it. I
everything
mean,
that's coming. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about. When you played, did you feel as if that Captain Anderson got Jude out of his position? Like, did you feel angry about that, or were you just like, I'm a Spectre now, let's go? Like,
I don't know. I actually usually when I'm playing, I mean, there's not a whole lot of options. I think the options are either, oh God, I'm sorry.
one is he deserves
I'm
better.
sorry, Anderson, for what happened. You know, you have that option, or you have like, all right, fuck off. That's fine. But like, I always felt kind of. I didn't feel super sorry for him, I guess. Like, I always felt like that was, him giving up the ship and you having it, and for the mission that you need to do. I always felt that made a lot of sense. It was pretty practical, and so like, I didn't get too. I don't know. I never felt too disappointed or sorry for Anderson, I guess. Yeah, I don't know about how you felt, but
Well, I remember playing through the first time. I really didn't. I liked Anderson right away because I read the book before the game came out, and it has everything to do with Anderson's backstory. Um, but I think the first few times I played through it, it didn't really dawn on me that he was actually giving up a posting on, like a prestigious posting, I would say, to help Shepard out. And I think what really bugged me the most, and it still sort of does, is just kind of like backdoor politics that takes him down. It's not because Anderson did something currently to lose the posting. It's all based on past history that he had no control over. And I think that's probably what bugs me the most.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is true to the situation. And I think like as you get to know Anderson more, like in the games, he is this really stand-up kind of militarily trained guy, and for him to have to lose that, he was a career man pretty much,
Yeah.
like for him to lose all that just like that, that's true. That is be disappointing.
You also do get the sense, though, that he's going to get taken care of because he is this distinguished soldier and leader, and he's not just going to get, fallen by the wayside. And we see that in the second game. But for now, it just kind of sucks, I think. But
yeah.
And then, thoughts on Udina? When I first ran into Udina, I was like, I'm immediately going to hate this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Udina's kind of an ass, for sure. I've actually thought that Udina has grown on me over subsequent playthroughs a little bit. But yeah, he definitely comes off as this really, he's the opposite of Anderson, and is this, he's this politician, and he's capable of being a jerk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like Udina either, especially at first. And I think later in this game, I come to really hate him. But yeah, And he's always like kind of a jerk to Shepard, like
Yeah, like straight
like,
up to Shepard.
yeah, he doesn't respect him or doesn't hold Shepard to have any kind of respect or kind of doesn't trust him at all.
Right.
And so I you know I could definitely see how Shepard would get pissed about that because that would be really frustrating because he's supposed to be on your team and everything.
Yeah. And he's a human and everything too. Like I like the senses they make him feel as a career politician, a ruthless career politician. But yeah, you throughout the whole game you never get any sense of respect coming from Udina towards Shepard, a guy who had distinguished himself enough, aside from Anderson, to be tapped for the Spectres as a potential recruit. And to me, like, that takes a great deal of not just being a good soldier, but also having the wherewithal of being somewhat politically savvy. Yeah. Well, maybe not even politically savvy, but just having the mind to know what's right and how to get things done properly, right? But you never get that from Udina. You just feel as if like he's like the adult and he's pushing the kids away, you know, to go to the kids' table type deal.
Yeah. He's definitely a really interesting character because you do know that like he has humanity's best interests at heart, and that's what he's trying to do. You know, you get at least I felt like that was genuine about his character, but yeah, he's a complete jerk about it, and like how he goes about, you know, ensuring that humanity is okay is always, you know, it does it in a way that, you know, he just doesn't trust anybody and he kind of stabs people in the back, you can tell, and kind of stuff like that. So, yeah, I agree.
I was just trying to figure out where. I think we've touched on everything that we've played up to so far on the videos. It'll be interesting to see where things go. I pretty much decided that we're going to do a couple of side quests before the next main mission. Well, I won't give all that away, but just in the sense of where things are located on the galaxy map, there's going to be a few other things happening before we get to either back to the Citadel or to the next main story line. Yeah, I am actually pretty excited to see where things go from here because, like I said, this playthrough is completely different for me because I didn't invest anything into Charm or Intimidate, so I don't have those options, the instant win options, basically, in the dialogue. So now I'm forced to play out, okay, it makes Shepard seem more human and not godlike, and I like that. So we'll see how that ends up turning out because this is completely new for me and not investing anything in those talents. So I've never played through the game where I've been forced to deal with whatever happens, and I didn't have any say in it really. So I think it's gonna get really good coming up soon.
Awesome. I'm glad you've been liking it. That's definitely something that that I found to be makes it feel like a very genuine experience, and and it's you know, to not have the instant win button makes it feel really real, at least to me, and so I think that's really cool that you're doing it that way. I think it'll be fun to see how things play out, and that when you can't get out of certain situations, because I think they alluded to it, especially you know, at the very end there when you were giving your briefing to the council about how you have to make some big decisions, and you know, are you going to be prepared for that? And so I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of foreshadowing right there.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see where that all turns out. So I guess with that, we will end episode 1 of the I Should Go Chronicles, and we'll see where it goes from here. So thanks, George, for talking with me about this game.
No problem. Thanks, Nico.
All right, so I'm going to end the recording.